Welcome to the fifth episode of the Guru Gainz Parlay. I usually ask some people for some feedback after the shows, and a lot of them were saying we need to have some females on. So here we go, guys. We've got some females. Today we have some special guests. We have Kate Shoulders Gordon and Kate the Guns Mitchell. For obvious reasons, they got their nicknames.
The twins.
And then we have Max, Mr. International Roache, the one-line guy. The ever-present guy there. Let's kick it off with you, Kate. Finally, congrats on making the level 1 staff. Let's. Can you tell the audience a little bit about that and what it took to get to being a level 1 staff?
So my journey to becoming part of staff was a little bit different from most people's. Most people actually tend to be invited, whether it's from someone who is kind of in contact with the seminar crew, or if they do a coach's prep course, they tend to go in that direction. I actually just emailed them and was like, listen, I'm interested in it. I'm in the Australia region. This was when I was living in the States. And like, what do I need to do? What do I need to do to be a part of this team? And so they basically just asked for some kind of a application kind of letter and what experience I had, and so I just basically told them that I was the shit and epic coach, and they needed me, and they gave me my first internship. So I did my first one in Orange County in the States, which was awesome.
How long was that?
It was just 1 weekend. So you do each weekend, like each seminar is considered an internship. So I did 1 weekend in Costa Mesa with Miranda Oldroyd and Josh Everett, which was awesome. So the first one is very much just hanging out and getting to know what's going on, and kind of a bit of a refresher, because it had been a year and a half since I'd done my level 1. And then the second one I did was in Sydney at RevX, and that was with good old Danny, who's awesome, who's now my mentor, and the Aussie crew. And then the third one was in Brisbane with Doug at CrossFit Rocks. No, that was my fourth one. Sorry, my third one was in Auckland, and that was at 09 when they came over here for the level 1 in December. And then I did my fourth one in Brisbane with Doug, and that was the one that was good. That was that was the recommended for staff one. So. Which was awesome. So, and I had my first official seminar with my red shirt this weekend just been. In Sydney at RevX again. So it was cool to go back there when I'd done an internship, and now be back there with the red shirt, knowing what I'm doing some fun stuff, hanging out with the crew. So
So every weekend you're away doing the level 1 course?
At this point it'll be a little bit slower. At the moment I've got kind of every other weekend, it's looking like. It just really depends on what work they want to offer me. And then I can say yes, I can say no. But it looks like I'm going to be away for the first open weekend in Perth. So I'm going to have to find a time to do the open WOD 14.1.
All right. Man, that's pretty cool. So away every other weekend, and eventually... More than that. What is the level 1, just for some people that don't know? Just basically?
So your level 1 is the seminar that anyone who's interested in kind of furthering their CrossFit education or becoming an actual coach will take and go through.
What do you think about people that are PTs, or I've got nothing against them, or people that just run like camps and then they just do CrossFit just to get the certification and then they open up a gym?
It's really hard to say, because all the rules are that you have to have your level 1
and that's
to affiliate. That's the only rule. But the level 1 doesn't make you a coach. It doesn't make you a gym owner. It doesn't make you the know all and be all of what it takes to do and run a CrossFit gym. But people do it, and people are still successful. And I think most people have got their heart in the right place. But if you're doing it right, you're still looking to further, your knowledge and to seek more and have a better understanding than just, 2 days of lectures and practical stuff with the level 1. There's definitely more to it than that.
Cool. And I've talked to you many times, Kate. I know you've done a lot in your life, and so let's start from the beginning. I know it might take a while, but I think a lot of people would really like to hear it. Let's start from the beginning. I know you've done a lot. I'll let you explain it instead of me fumbling more words.
Sure. I started off horse riding before I could walk, thanks to my dad.
Yeah.
And then I went on to be a swimmer for a couple of years.
Yep.
And I swam every morning at 4 a.m. and every night from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. So.
How old were you then, roughly?
I started swimming when I was about probably 6 or 7.
Yep, 6 or 7.
And then I started doing triathlon when I was probably about 12. And I became a full-time triathlete from 14 through to about 18, 19.
So you were used to getting up at 4 from 12 on, what?
Yeah, pretty much 4 till 4.
You don't wake up till 10 now.
I know! And I don't swim anymore because I've been haunted by swimming and getting up so early. So I hate water and I hate getting up. Tainted forever. And then I kept getting a lot of injuries when I was doing triathlon. I was very thin and I got a lot of stress fractures. So I had to give up the triathlon for my own health.
Yeah.
And so I started bodybuilding as something to do and to also increase my bone density because I have osteoporosis and I still do, so I have to be very cautious of my bones at the moment and how much I train, how much I recover.
That's a genetic thing? Or?
I was anorexic from when I was probably about 9 years old. It started until I was probably 18, so my bones didn't actually form properly.
Yeah.
And
is that because of the eating?
Yeah, I had an eating disorder. Yeah. Just ties into my personality. I'm just an anxious person, very much a perfectionist.
Yeah.
And so because of that, I now have very low bone density, and my bones, I get stress fractures really easily.
Yeah.
So bodybuilding was a way to try and increase that bone density by lifting a lot of weight, making the bones a bit stronger.
Yeah, because lifting weights makes your bones stronger.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. So that really helped me, and it also helped me gain a lot of strength because I was very weak when I started doing bodybuilding.
So you went from a weakling to...
I was so weak. I was terrible. My bench press was maybe 20 kilo on the bar, and that was my max. I was very weak. And so after about 3 years of bodybuilding with some really good friends I made along the way, I found CrossFit. We were at CrossFit Auckland with Lisa and Alex, and from then on I just loved it. And I've been there doing CrossFit for 2.5 years now.
Yep.
Started as an absolute beginner and really knew nothing, and kind of just kept on training and getting into it.
Oh, nice. So that's the journey. So you've done a lot. Triathlete, you mentioned before, you're sponsored by Nike.
I was.
So you're world class.
Yes, I was. I did. I was sponsored by Nike for quite a few years, which I loved. It was amazing. One of the best times of my life. And I was also a Spark athlete, so I got funding just to train, basically.
I've heard of that stuff.
Yeah, it was.
It's like crack.
It was amazing.
Seriously, we used to sell it at my old gym, and it was everyone was like, "Okay, you've got to get your order in for your crack." And I was like, "What is this stuff everyone's talking about?"
Yeah, it was awesome. It was such a good time in my life, and it really put the base in for my endurance. So, we would be training probably 6 to 8 hours every single day.
6 to 8 hours, yeah.
6 to 8 hours.
How'd you maintain that, with school and whatever?
I didn't really care much for school when I was there. I didn't really go to school.
Well, don't do that, kids.
Really into school at that time. So I passed my level. I passed 7th form. It's level 1, level 3. I passed with 1 credit.
Yeah.
So I just squeaked in. And then the funny thing was, I got a scholarship to go to uni based on my triathlon results. And once I got to uni, I absolutely loved it, and I was just so into my uni.
What did you study?
I studied psychology for 5 years.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to help, especially females that might have body image disorders or who want to increase their self-confidence through exercise.
Yeah.
I also studied anxiety a lot, and I worked as a researcher for probably about 2 years before I decided that I needed a bit more money than what I was getting, which was probably pennies.
Yeah.
So I now work in advertising as a way to...
Do you offer your services as a... psychologist or whatever?
No, I don't.
Just as a friend? I
just try, and I think it's made me a lot more empathetic towards people. And I like to try and help people where I can, whether that's formally or informally.
Yeah.
And I hope that I'm quite an approachable person for that, having been through a lot myself.
So you wouldn't advertise it, it's just more if you come across people in life, you help them out where you can, sort of thing?
Yeah, exactly. I think that same with CrossFit, it takes a lot of further education to be a really good psychologist.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to be giving people advice that maybe isn't up to date. Because I'm not studying it at the moment.
Yeah.
But certainly I can help people just with, ear to listen to them and...
maybe a little bit of a touchy one. Like, what would you say to like young ladies that are struggling with anorexia or body image sort of things?
You know what, even to this day, I probably get a couple of emails every single week from girls that are really struggling with eating issues.
Yeah.
CrossFitters, non-CrossFitters, and you know, it's really hard because society puts so much pressure on girls to be thin. CrossFit is changing that stereotype a lot to strong is the new skinny, which is amazing.
Yeah.
But you know, when I was anorexic, I had no idea the result it would have on the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, like, you know, having, so it put my parents through hell. It was horrible. Like, it tore my family apart.
Yeah.
It was awful. Not only that, but now my body is always going to have problems.
Right, right. So
It's got ongoing health problems, yeah. And so my back, I hurt my back last year, and I assumed that it was just something that I did in CrossFit, but it turns out because of my anorexia, my discs haven't actually properly formed.
Right.
So I've got ongoing issues now with...
It's just something you're going to have to manage.
Yeah, again, it's another thing that I have to always be aware of. I'm not able to take my body for granted because there are a lot of things that haven't developed properly because I didn't eat as I should have.
Right.
So it's kind of a really negative consequence that you don't realise.
Was there some certain things that actually helped you, like, you know what I mean, to get out of that sort of hole that other people could learn from, or was there a certain point or person or something like that?
I found for myself, and through my psychology studies as well, I found that I personally need to have a goal. So I need to have a sports goal. And if I don't have a sports goal, I tend to go back into the habit of thinking that, I just need to be skinny, or I just need to be, leaner or smaller.
So performance goal.
Yeah, it's naturally my mindset is to want to be skinny. So I need to have a performance-based goal, and I need to surround myself with people who buy into that goal and help me get there.
Right.
And if I've got that, I'm good.
So new surrounding and some sort of performance-based goal.
Yeah.
I think that's the difference with CrossFit. It's not about going to your pump class and like burning as many calories as you can in that hour just to go home and have, like a slice of meat and a piece of like celery so that you can, look good for the weekend. Yeah. That was what I experienced with CrossFit. It was the first time that it was really about eating to perform well and not about eating depending on how you want to look.
Yeah.
So it was cool. It was a kind of a relief.
Yeah.
And there's so much pressure, and it's amazing because it's not necessarily something that you can point out. I mean, it's everywhere in like magazines and on the computer, and like you see it, but it's just kind of accepted. And so you go to CrossFit, and like I walked in, like my nickname's Shoulders, and I had these shoulders that I'd hated my entire life. I'd absolutely hated my shoulders. I wanted to be like narrow shoulders, like skinny little waist, and like gorgeous butt. Like that was what I wanted. That was all I needed to make me happy. Yeah. And I got to CrossFit, and for the first time I was like, yes, I can lift stuff overhead, and it's
everyone's like, your shoulders are the best part of you. Like,
it's great. Like, it's so good. Honestly, overhead strength is that is what I can do with. That's what I bring to CrossFit. Like that is my huge strength. That is it. And so it's nice. It's really, really good. And like, I had French toast for breakfast, and it's okay. I'm not gonna do that for breakfast tomorrow, but like, it's just you relax.
Yeah. What do you think about CrossFit and the fear of bulkiness? A lot of ladies, they come in and they're like,
it's when you start CrossFit, it's not a fear.
Yeah.
It's totally unrealistic. I think like the same way that there's this strange kind of invisible pressure of being skinny, there's this strange invisible idea of doing something that makes you like grow incredible muscles,
like a man or something, like masculine.
Yeah, it's not the case. You look at some of the fittest women in CrossFit, and they look ripped, and you see the incredible photos from them at the games, but you see them on the street, and you wouldn't know. You would have no idea. Like you see, so I trained with Sam Breaks a couple of times last year in the States at Dogtown CrossFit when she was training with Lindsay. And she's wearing like shorts and a hoodie, and she's like just this skinny blonde thing. Yeah. You would have no idea.
Yeah.
You have no idea that she has these like incredible arms. Like she's just so fit. Like she can lift so much weight.
Like for me personally, I'm a bit of a fan of the CrossFit athletic body, and I know Max will probably agree with me too.
I like athletic body.
I mean, like, And like, because I think I can appreciate like that they've worked hard. And, and it's not easy.
Yeah.
And like, to me, it's better than being like overweight. Like, not that I'm against that, but you know, they're working hard. They're trying, you know, looking after themselves.
There's always that thought that if you lift weights for a week, you're going to become like shoulders. You know, like all of a sudden you're going to have the big biceps and the big shoulders. And man, like, I mean, you're genetically blessed to have your shoulders, and we're all jealous. Yeah. But you know, I'm naturally really thin. Actually, I sit probably about 60 kilos, and so now I'm 70 kilos, and you know, it's taken me about 5 years to put that much muscle on. Yeah. So maybe if you look back 5 years, you'll get that muscly.
5 years of training hard.
5 years of training,
so,
man. Like
if you're training like 3 times a week for 40 minutes, you're probably not going to get bulky. Like
probably not that bulky. No.
Doing spin classes and stuff like that.
No. The first thing you're going to do is lose weight,
lose
you know?
Some weight, like,
you start lifting weight, you're going to start burning like that. So it's, I don't know where it comes from. I was reading an article today that was about how the number 1200 is like a rule for how many calories women should eat if they want to have their ideal body, and it's just a number that people know, right? Do you know like 1200? I remember thinking 1500, like 1500 calories a day.
Cut down, hasn't it?
Yeah, like apparently it's got down. I'm like, Jesus, I don't know what I can eat, but it's just like this known thing. You go do cardio, you eat 1200 or 1500 calories a day, and you're gonna have, you know,
the perfect body.
How many calories would you have in a day, Rob?
Oh, I have no idea. I eat around training, so if I'm not training, I'm generally not as hungry. But I always have breakfast, and I always have like porridge and a banana at least. Yeah. And then I usually like to have something before training. So if that means I'll have a second breakfast, I'll have some eggs and some sweet potato.
Man, you can eat before training? That stuff?
I eat so much food before training. I have a hard time eating after training. Yeah. I have to make sure I eat enough because I actually don't get hungry. Yeah. So I have to make sure that I eat so I can recover and feel better the next day. But I eat probably like 4 meals a day, and then I'll eat whatever is available in between if I'm training or out of the house. Yeah. But
What would you? How many do you have? You counted calories like lately? Were you sort of eating roughly?
I think I'm kind of the opposite of most CrossFitters in that I have a really high carbohydrate diet. I have moderate protein, and I have very low fat. Yeah. And that's how I've always eaten since I was probably like trained in triathlon, probably about 12 years old. So I eat a lot of rice, a lot of pasta.
Can we start from the beginning? So if you don't know, Kate's a vegetarian. Yes. And you're like one of the strongest chicks I know. Oh, and I'm not being against vegetarians, but most of them I know aren't very strong. Like how do you get strong? Just for tips for them, like if they want to maintain their vegetarian eating. How can they maintain their strength and stuff like that?
You know, I don't think it's that hard, and I'm not too sure why there's such a stereotype around vegetarians. And I'm borderline vegan. I actually don't eat most dairy products. I won't eat anything with an animal product like gelatin in it either, just because of my personal preference. But it's not that hard. It's actually just making good choices. Like,
I don't know any like that are really strong.
Yeah.
They look a little bit faint sort of sometimes.
And actually, I know exactly what you mean. And I think it's just being... it's just being balanced, isn't it?
The stereotype is
the anemic kind of...
like, definitely probably smaller, at least people that I've met. Yeah. But along with that stereotype, they're probably not lifting a whole lot of weight.
I don't think so.
And probably not eating, large portions of food. Yeah. I read this really interesting book about kind of becoming a vegetarian, and the author compared, humans to like the strongest animals in the animal kingdom, and like you look at, a rhinoceros or a hippopotamus, they're huge and like they're such strong, muscly creatures, and what do they eat? They don't eat meat. They're vegetarians,
What about a lion?
Okay.
The king of the jungle.
The hippo.
I don't have anything against meat here. I'm lying.
I'm the hippo, definitely. It's a new name.
But the hippo kills more people, so...
The hippo is the most dangerous animal in the world, just saying.
Yeah.
I I was listening to a radio podcast yesterday about people that eat meat versus people that don't, and it seems to be that your body almost has a preference. So some people, like myself, have been vegetarian since I was probably 4 or 5 years old, and that's just my body's natural way.
Yeah.
So, but maybe if Kate's shoulders went veggie,
stopped eating meat and totally changed my diet,
she'd be anemic.
3 years of eating the way I have been. You know, that's a whole other situation. Like, I probably would lose a whole lot of weight and not be able to lift and have very different energy levels. But like for someone who's grown up like that,
it's just
I think I could become a vegetarian over a very slow process. You know, few years. But it's not a switch that you could make like that.
Yeah. What would you typically eat in a day, like a day in the life of a vegetarian, roughly?
Yeah, I'm gluten free as well as vegetarian. As you can tell, I don't really have many foods I actually eat.
Yeah.
But I'll usually have gluten free cereal with maybe some water and some protein powder mixed into that.
Yeah. What's your cereal sort of?
I just like the Hubbard cereal.
Yeah.
Hubbard's gluten free.
No flavouring on it?
No, not really. Just kind of any cereal that's gluten free. It ticks the boxes.
Yeah.
Some quite nice ones out there these days. And then I'll usually train after that. And then after training, I'll have some kind of vegetable protein, whether that's tofu or any of the tofu-based products.
Yeah.
And then afternoon teas, usually like peanut butter and some gluten-free rice crackers or something like that.
Yeah.
And then dinner's usually just a repeat of lunch, really. It'd be rice and pasta and some kind of like vegetable alternative protein. It's pretty boring, but I mean, there's not that many products you can eat that are gluten-free.
Can you eat vegetarian pizza?
I would eat vegetarian pizza, but I don't eat cheese either, so that kind of takes the fun out of pizza.
Have you accidentally eaten like some meat and then be like, oh, it's nice, and then you found out it was meat?
No, oh my God, no. I've done the opposite. I've
You're like, oh, this is good, and someone's like, oh my God. And you're like, oh no.
I actually have like the opposite.
Bacon one.
I know. So be like, yeah, this is vegetarian bacon, and then. No, I've got like this second sense for something that's meat. Like I went to the Glenfield market and I got some dumpling and they were like, vegetarian. I was like, oh, sweet, I'm into this. And then I tasted one bite and it was obviously meat and I just was sick. It was so disgusting. Just my body just like react.
Yeah. I had a friend that didn't eat, turkey. And so I was cooking up, I was like, you want something? They're like, nah, I didn't eat turkey. And I was like, all right. So I cooked up this meal. And later on, and it was turkey, because turkey sort of looks like chicken, because it's white, white meat. I said, oh, it's chicken, and she started eating it, and well, this is really good. And I was like, yeah, let's keep going. Like, waited till it finished, and I was like, it's still turkey. I was like, you liar! You like turkey. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, I feel sick. I was like, man.
Now I know.
Yeah. I was like, you're a liar. Yeah. So.
Oh, that's so funny.
That's a mean trick.
That's a mean trick.
Huh? You gotta do what you gotta do.
I'm gonna watch out for you. I don't like tomatoes, so if I'm ever around you, I'm not gonna eat anything.
Why not?
I don't know how you'd hide that, but
yeah,
I don't like them either.
You can find a way.
Yeah.
Tell someone chicken was turkey.
No tomato paste.
Yeah, I don't mind tomato paste.
Yeah.
Pasta sauce, pizza.
Yeah.
But actual tomatoes. But I don't like them either. It's just
the texture.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
What's your background, Kate? So I know you did some stuff in America.
So
you talk
sports
American, but you're from here.
Okay, so
sports,
I don't have much of a background in sports. Actually, I was a dancer. I did modern dance. I did jazz, ballet, and all that kind of fun stuff in high school. And then I wanted to go to a dance school in Melbourne, and missed out on the first year. So started university in Dunedin.
Yeah.
Started studying performing arts and studying a minor in dance down there. And then I had the audition for Melbourne coming up, and a month out I snapped my ACL skiing. So I couldn't do the audition. And
was your world like shattered?
A little bit, but I'm very much like, it didn't work out, and it's okay because there's something else kind of like coming my way.
Yeah.
And that was when I sort of departed from my world of dance and decided to go overseas and study overseas. So I went over to the States for my last year of university, and was in University of California, the Irvine campus, which is just like about an hour south of LA. And switched my degree to film, had an epic time over there, and so had another year where I was back and forth a little bit. And then one of the months that I was home, I actually started CrossFitting. And gotten really involved with getting stronger and becoming fitter because I had to recover from this ACL. So it, funnily enough, was kind of what kind of pointed me in the direction of going to the gym and training and getting stronger and being really focused on taking care of myself. So found CrossFit and was actually kind of, I didn't really buy into it at first. I bought a Groupon for Kia Kaha CrossFit in town, and I liked it, and I liked that they remembered my name. That was the one thing that I remember just being like, they know who I am. I go into Les Mills, and I'm just like avoiding eye contact with people, and it's like not fun. And anyways, they remembered who I was, who I were. And
so your original Kia Kaha?
Yeah, not that original, because it was 2011. It was the end of 2011.
Oh, right,
so it was Amar and Hala and like just my family, and was there for the month that I had my group on, and the last day I went in and I went to see Hala and to tell her that I wasn't going to continue. And I felt so guilty because, you know, they know you. It was like you were friends. I was friends with her, so I had to go and tell my friend that I didn't want to like keep going to a gym. So it was like a friend breakup. And so I went in and she totally sold me a membership. And I walked out with a 6-month membership.
So
sorry?
Guilt trip.
Yeah.
It works.
It works. So
Ladies
if anyone's trying to sell a membership, So and then about 3 months in, I was totally hooked. And I went over to Australia and went to Reebok CrossFit Gold Coast with Jeremy, who I love to pieces. Had an epic week with them, and that was the first time that I'd done about 5 days out of a week for on with 2 days off. And so that was when I was like, yes, this is for me, this is awesome. And then a couple months later I got my level 1, and then I went back over to the States and had a web marketing internship of all things with a random company in Hollywood, and I hated it. I couldn't sit in an office. I couldn't do it. I absolutely despised it. I hated feeling tired and being indoors for so long and sitting at a desk and staring at a screen. It honestly made me depressed. It was horrible. So 6 weeks in, I quit and started working at a gym that happened to be just down the road, and they were a brand new CrossFit gym, and just jumped in this, pretty much didn't jump, got thrown and put in the deep end and started coaching full time. And then
straight away,
straight away. I'd had my level 1 for 2 weeks. I'd been CrossFitting for just over 6 months.
So you just fake it till you make it. Sort of
basically trial and error, big time. And I was this quiet, like New Zealander. And no one could understand me. And so learned from making a lot of mistakes. And then the girl who was managing the gym left. I took her spot for about 6 months, and then my visa was up earlier last year, so I kind of crossed the border a couple times and hung out for a little bit longer. And then officially was back in September last year. And by then I'd started my internship with the seminar staff, and had been in contact with Darren and sort of just joined the CFNZ crew, and here I am. So that was my sort of 3 and a bit years in LA in the States. My sports background, dance, and then working out, and I did a half marathon a few years ago, and just CrossFit.
On to the more serious questions. We've had some single guys on the show. Do we have single ladies on the show today?
Committed to CrossFit.
Married to the sport.
It's complicated. No.
It's complicated?
It's complicated.
Single.
Do we have single ladies? Or
I'm single. You're single too. We're the single twins. Looking for lovely twins to take us out.
So we've got 2 Kates that are available. What are you guys looking for? Like, what is your... what do you guys need?
They can't be skinnier than me.
No, it's
can't be skinny.
Awkward, eh? They have to lift a bit more too,
because otherwise they have to be bigger. They have to lift more.
So how much do you back squat?
I'm 145 at the moment, so please above that. And bench is over 100 is like the minimum.
So if you can't beat those, don't even bother.
And beat the Fran time, sub 3 minute Fran would be good.
But do you reckon it's alright to say you have to be stronger there, right? But
you know what?
But the chick can be fitter, right?
Honestly,
the chick can be fitter, right?
No, it doesn't.
You just have to be stronger.
I would go out with anyone that can make me laugh. I would date a dwarf who could make me laugh.
A dwarf.
I'm looking for an animal lover. Anyone that loves animals and treats my animals like children. And animal lovers must apply.
And how are we going on that side of things, Max?
What do you mean? Just blending in with the
All right, so how serious are we on the? They have to, like, because I find it hard to, if they're not really into training.
So if I were to go out and look to meet somebody, I'd start in a CrossFit gym, see what I like.
See who's single, probably.
So it'd be pretty hard, like being a chick who's like actually good at CrossFit, right?
I mean, it probably, I guess, limits.
Because it'd be weird, like if you're back squatting more than.
But if somebody would approach me, I wouldn't turn them down just because if they weren't squatting,
Where do they apply? Where do they
apply within? Which cake do you want, though?
Well, the thing is that I don't really get out much, so they have to come to CrossFit New Zealand, I guess.
Or CrossFit Zealous would be another.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Just get on Facebook.
We are going to start our single CrossFit party, aren't we?
Yeah, we have been talking about starting it. Speed dating. But it has to be in a different box because you can't date within the box.
No, that's a rule. So it's like now, we have to go to other boxes.
Yeah.
Good thing there's more boxes coming up all the time.
We're talking about CrossFit Quattro. So Quattro boys.
Quattro boys is one of the topics.
If there's someone that wants to organise that speed dating night,
we will attend.
We'll be there.
We'll open. Yeah. Max, are you going?
Yep.
Max is going too. Good.
Can we have two?
We're actually just going to put on a competition that only singles can go, and you get put in partners when you get there.
Right. So all a bunch of CrossFitters hot and sweaty in one room. Sounds pretty full on. So Kate, you're training for Open. I know you train pretty hard. Like, tell us a little bit about your schedule and training.
So probably late last year I started training under Rob Downton, who runs Raw Strength and Conditioning in the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
So my program is online based.
Yeah. Why'd you go with Rob?
Rob approached me after the regionals last year, and I mean, obviously last year at regionals I was an absolute novice. My skill levels were terrible, but my strength and my conditioning was generally quite good. And so he obviously saw that he could probably help take me a little bit further than I was then. And he's the best coach I've ever had. He's absolutely amazing, and I think the world of him and his crew over at Raw Strength. And so all my programming is based around my weaknesses, really, I'd say. And they've picked up a lot now to where I'd almost say I don't have a weakness, which is a great feeling.
What would your daily schedule roughly? I know it will be changing a lot. But
it does change a lot. I think one of the keys that Rob finds is that we do have a lot of variety. So one day we might be doing traditional CrossFit, the next day it might be like the other day me and Max walked around with stones and sleds for 45 minutes non-stop, and so every day is completely different.
How many days and a week and hours per day roughly?
So probably train 5 to 6 days a week, and it would be probably between 3 and 5 hours a day-ish. That's just in general. But of course I have weeks that are a lot bigger and weeks that are a bit smaller to try and recover as well. So it does depend on what part of the program I'm in. But I also try to work on skills and that in my own time, and mobility and rehabilitation takes up a lot of my time as well, and that's been huge as well, making sure my mobility is always up to scratch.
So that's what it roughly takes to get to that regional level.
This year is a lot different for me going into the Open than it was last year. I've trained a lot more. I feel like I've put a lot more into it. I've changed my life completely to try and get back to regionals and do better than last time. So it'll be good to see whether it pays off, making all those changes. So
making some good gains and
hopefully,
What about those days like it's like, oh man, I've got like 2 hours left? Do you just say like to Rob, oh no, I've done it, but you haven't done it? Or?
No! Oh, no way!
You've never thought of that?
No!
Come on, don't lie!
Training, you say, oh no, we'll just cut it off.
We'll just stop at 10 minutes.
So you're always like, no matter how you feel, you're just like, I've got to get this done.
I do, and I just, I want to get to my goals. I mean, I've got probably 3 or 4 more years before I reach my CrossFit goals, but I just want to get there so bad. And
what motivates you like for that? Because I know everyone's like, oh, stuff this, I'm tired, or whatever. Like, what makes you turn up every day and put in that time and effort?
No, I back myself. I really believe in myself, and I think that I can get to the CrossFit Worlds one day. It might, you know, it might be in 3 or 4 years, it might be in 10 years, but I reckon I can do it, and I'll put in anything that it takes to get there, and just consistent. I think it's just consistency, and you know, you've got to work your way up.
Where does that belief come from? Because like everyone, like generally most people don't really believe in themselves. Like where do you get that belief from?
I think it's just life experience personally, and I mean it maybe sounds a little bit harsh, but I try and only interact with people that buy into my goals and that give me the confidence to pursue them. If someone's being negative within my life, or if they don't believe in me, then I don't associate with them. So I surround myself with people that encourage me.
So it goes back from your nutrition thing as well, like good people around you and having goals.
Good people around, and just making sure that, you know, I might have a bad day, but tomorrow's a new day. There's always another day to keep going, and it's just being positive, trying to think of the good things.
One of the things I do is I just try to brainwash myself into like trying to be successful. Like, so I either read books or talk to people, and like you get that constant reinforcement of believing in yourself and your goals, because it's so easy to like fall out of it before the like negativity around you, like, why are you going to do that? So like I read to like that people that are successful and hear what they got to say, and they're like, don't believe them, cut them out.
I think something that you often don't think about with people that are successful and people that work really hard is that they're actually really patient people. I think patience is the only thing that really gets you through. If you can be strong and consistent and just endure and outlast everybody else, then you're going to be successful. You know, like, I think success is so much focused on like how you're doing and how your progress is going and how your training is every day. But often it's going to be in a year's time if you're still going and other people have dropped off. You know, I think a lot of it will come down to that. And you just have to, you be patient. But you do have those days. I have them all the freaking time. I hate it. I'm so emotional. It's like, but like, you know, you give yourself a break, and I know
I've cry sometimes after.
I'm not a crier. I'm not a crier, but I swear a lot. I swear, I storm out. Like, I just get really mad and I don't talk to people.
Do you like binge eat? Like if you're not getting
if my training's not going that well, I won't eat that well. They will always go hand in hand. And I definitely don't sleep as well if my training's not going. Like, if my training's not going well, everything kind of, I'm like,
your whole life is bad if your training doesn't go well. It like collapses.
It's like you said, you know that you've got tomorrow, and you know that you've got next week, and you've got the rest. You know, like, if you are really focused on a goal, you will take it to the grave with you. Like, you will just keep going until you get it. And so, you know, regardless of a bad day, take it in your stride, and you just got to get through.
I've had like not an injury, just my back has been tight, so I haven't been able to like squat as much because I think my glutes have been turning up, and it just hurts me so bad that I can't like get the numbers that I usually get. And like you try to switch it off, it's like doesn't matter, you can still walk around and all that, but it's still hard to like not get angry. Or for me anyway, like it's frustrating like when I'm not meeting what I can usually do.
When that happens to me, I'll probably finish a session with something I am good at, maybe like. If I'm not hitting numbers that I want to do, maybe I'll go and do a max set of handstand push-ups and, you know, make a new PB, and then, pretty much, like, make yourself feel like you are still, I don't know, like, you know, it can be a bit disappointing sometimes.
It's like you have to take the opportunity to work on other things.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, as much as you can. Like, I've had shoulders and backs that have been pretty shitty, and elbows that have been bad in the past, and, like, you just have to be like, okay, well, I've got upper body strength, I know that, so time to work on some legs.
Totally.
Let's do some lunges.
Don't sit there and wallow that your back squat's not 200 kilos anymore. Go and do something else.
That's what CrossFit is. It's infinitely scalable. It is infinitely scalable. No matter what situation you're in, like, you can do something. So there's always progress to be made.
All right, so you're coach full-time, CrossFit New Zealand?
Yeah, full-time.
And you're on the level 1 staff. Where to from here? Big question.
You know, the seminar staff thing wasn't anything I planned. I mean, I applied and I kind of initiated it, but it was a suggestion from a friend of mine, a really good friend of mine in the States. She was like, she'd just done her level 1, and she was like, you need to be on staff. That you need to do that. That's just you. And so I was like, well, heck yeah, why not? And so that's been kind of a big focus for me for the last 6 months, and it has been very challenging. So it was actually something that became a really big part of what I've been doing, and did take over a few other things and affected my training and affected like just life in general, especially moving back from the States. There's been quite a few changes. So I've got this really awesome place where I'm at now, where I'm full-time at CFNZ. I've got the job now, I've got the gig, like I'm doing the seminar thing. So as far as my professional career, like I'm really happy with where it's at, and I think I'm going to keep that going for the next, a couple of years. I think I want to focus on becoming, a better athlete. This year, I'm not as prepared for the Open, and I'm not as prepared for regionals as I was last year. And I just haven't been as consistent with my training, which, that's okay. But I think I'm going to really just kick it up a notch and focus on that for the next year. Now that I'm settled, now that I've got, a routine.
All right. And so just back to the whole thing. So you went from being really skinny and that, right? And now you're a little bit more athletic, a little bit more muscular. How's that change been, like from being real skinny and then more athletic and more
awesome?
I probably got a little stronger.
I know you get like stopped a lot, and people are like, "Well, what have you been doing?" and stuff like that. How's that life? Like, it's better that way.
It is good, I hope that I inspire people to live a healthy life as opposed to maybe try and just be really skinny. And there's always going to be girls that want to be skinny, but if I can help maybe 5 or 10 girls see that being strong is better, then that's worth it. But I do get stopped a lot on the street, mostly about my tattoos actually, rather than my body. But are they real? Are they painted on? But a lot of people comment on how I look, and I always tell them, I do CrossFit and try and explain what it is, which no one really understands. But it's like gymnastics and running and lifting and.
So like boot camp, eh?
Sometimes I say boot camp.
I just say, I don't even know. I say I do Olympic lifting and gymnastics.
I do that too. I say weightlifting some of the time, but I can't be bothered explaining. I'm like, I do weightlifting.
I never say weightlifting because I think it puts them off. I say we do like some gymnastics and like boot camp. But we have more skills.
Boot camp with skills. That's a good way to put it.
But so we've sort of gone through most things. Any final messages or anyone you'd like to thank? Sponsors or anything you'd like to leave?
I'm not sponsored. Shit. I'm open to it. Apply.
And we're open to that as well. As you can see, we've still got the same mic, so.
Wait, what's the company that the mic's from?
I don't even know. It's from my friend. Thanks, Mandy Martin, for hooking us up. It's not even mine. Any thank yous? We're pretty good.
I'll thank my sponsors. I'd like to thank my sponsors. No, I am sponsored by Hyperstrength Supplements and Body Pro, which is based in Albany, and they are amazing to me. And I have started using their products like BCAAs, which I couldn't afford before because I'm a poor house owner. And I have noticed a massive difference in my recovery from using good quality supplements like that. And also my coach, Rob at Raw Strength and Conditioning, and I wouldn't be able to do it without him. So
cool. Thanks for that. And there's a little bit of there could be a deal with Hyperstrength for the Zealous members, is that right?
There is, yes, and actually it's probably for all my friends, so I'm going to post the deal on the Zealous page, but we're going to get 10% off all of the Hyperstrength supplement range, which is already a really good price, so it will bring that down to be a lot more cost effective, because I know it's expensive. On top of your CrossFit, it's another added extra. But I'll be posting that deal up, and so you can order online or go in store in Albany, and we'll hook you guys up.
All right. Cool. Thanks, ladies, for coming on and sharing and being open. Thanks to Max for being there, supporting me. Max. I always appreciate it. That is us. We are tapping out. Enjoy your day.